You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and the Nasdaq was down 287 points today, or 1.8%. Volume was just a tick above average daily volume for the last 50 sessions or whatever. I just wanted to take a look at the Nasdaq here. I'm going to go to the weekly chart first. Sorry about that. I just wanted to show you that it's been up 14 out of 15 weeks since it made that low in October. You know, it ripped 9 straight weeks here. Count them out: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Had 1 week where it was down, what, 3.2%. And then the last 5 weeks have just ripped higher. And now we're down a little bit this week, 2% or so, 2.1%. So, you know, giving some back. That's part of the deal. It, you know, backs and fills. You can see the high there of 16,212. To me, it's a pretty important number, a threshold, if you will. Keep that in mind, 16,212 from November of 2021. Now let's go to the daily chart. Yesterday, you know, we had that reversal candle where it made that high from, what is it? Yeah, 16,080 on Monday, and then reversed lower and closed at the lows of the session, which is that inverted hammer candle. That's a reversal where it makes a high, pulls back, closes at the low. So you can expect further downside and it gapped lower today. You know, if you didn't have the news or anything and know anything about CPI, just say, okay, it had this big run. Now it's due to give some back. What did it do? It came back to its 10. You know, essentially it came almost back to its 21. You can see the 21 there is 15,494. And the low today was 551. So it was, you know, 60 points off its 21. Maybe it'll get there tomorrow or later on in the week. Who knows? But it's due for a pullback. It's due for a correction. We know this because when it gets to be, you know, close to 6% above the 50, as you can see there, last week it was 5.7 on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, it was 5.7. On Friday, had a nice day. 6.8%. We know it gets wonky when it gets up there. So, you know, we know this if you followed me for any time at all, and you know this is, you know, correction time. And it certainly did. It pulled back. So now it's 4.1% above a rising 50. You can see this 50 is rising every day, you know, and so it won't take much, you know, if it just trades sideways. I'm a big believer in seasonality. I know some people don't, but the last couple of weeks of February are usually pretty choppy and not real strong. So if it trades sideways and allows these moving averages to catch up, that's fine. Some people need to make money every day. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm just like, we're in an uptrend. Let's stick with the trend. You know, don't fight the tape. Don't, you know, the trend is your friend, whatever expression you want to use. So we had a pullback today. So what do we do now is the question, right? And I think probably going to see, you know, some buyers step in at some point here. They'll come in, you know, Wednesday or Thursday and say, what the heck have we done? There's some bargains here, and they're going to pick them up. I trade stocks, not indexes, but you know, since I'm here, I might as well show the Russell. Russell took a big hit today, pulled back to its 50, down nearly 4%. So it was a pretty rough day on all of the indexes, the Dow, the S&P. And, you know, pull back to the 50 is not the end of the world. You got to expect that. It's going to happen. It's like a magnet. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Apple pulled back. You know, first of all, when you see the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq all down, you know that these, you know, Super Six or Magnificent Seven or whatever, Fab Five, whatever you want to call them, you know those stocks are going to be lower. They're driving the indexes higher and lower. And so Apple just pulled back to its 200 today. You know, I'm not interested in that stock. It's just clearly trading sideways. Microsoft, they had their what was it, Xbox Day or something, was kind of lackluster. It just pulled back to its 21. This is totally normal action here. There's nothing wrong with Microsoft pulling back 2%, just a little bit more than the index. When the index pulls back, you know, 1.8%, you can expect your growth stocks to pull back 3 or 4%. And if they're doing, you know, less than that, then they're doing really well. Meta, it pulled back less than 2%, so about with the index, you know, 1.87%. It's just forming a little shelf here, allowing its moving averages to catch up. Meta, super strong stock here. Amazon, pulled back to its 10 today. I mean, big deal, right? It was down 2%. It's had a nice run. There's going to be profit taking along the way. So today's inflation data was just a good excuse for institutions to take profits. So I wouldn't get too worked up about it. Google, also, you can't get complacent though, because all corrections start with, one or two, reversals. And then we don't want to get into a situation where we got last summer where we had that 3 legs down and corrected for 3 months. That was a real drag. But we came out of it all right. Google down 1.6%, so it outperformed the index today. And looking pretty good. NVIDIA had a good day for a while there, and then, just closed flat. It's up after hours. I'm going to get to some of the after hour stuff in a minute. But when the index is down 1.8% and you're flat, that's outperforming. And if you have NVIDIA in your portfolio, then it probably helped buoy the index. I'm going to start off on a negative path. Plenty of negative stuff in the markets today, but I'm going to start off on the negative and then bring you back on the positive path. And I'm going to go in the home builder direction because they're more sensitive to rates. And when the yields ticked up today, these things pulled back, and DR Horton sliced its 50. So that's a sell sign for me. It could certainly rally back through it, but could also pull back to its 200. And I'm not interested in making that trip. It was down 4% with the index down 1.8. That's pretty severe underperformance for DR Horton. Pulte Homes, now that these home builders really got hit today, 3.5%. It traded down to its 50 and hanging on like a cat hanging on to the side of a shelf, just digging its nails, digging its nails into the wood, trying to hang on to that 50 there. Pulte will be one to watch. Toll Brothers, another one just pulled back to the 50. This is set up in a base, but they're rate sensitive, so it's pretty tough. Down 5% today with, you can see that volume pretty ticking up there pretty strong. And then the one we had on our ready list is Lennar, which actually held up better than most, and it just closed a tick above its 21. So to me, that's holding up pretty well. It's still down 4% on strong volume. That's pretty tough to take. 4% hits are not fun. Builder First Source, this is in the home builder realm. It was down less than 3%. It traded below its 21, then closed above the 10. So that's a pretty wild swing for that stock today. And a couple of other software names I had on our ready list that just got hit hard today. The software is IoT Samsara, down more than 5%. To me, this is adios muchachos. It's still closed. It sliced its 50 and closed 1.2% below it. So scratch that one. I mean, even if they're set up in base, that doesn't mean they're just going to totally rip for you. I mean, especially in a tape like this, these are more high valuation growth stocks, and they're going to get hit when rates tick up. So anyway, not a good day for IoT Path, UiPath, and this thing got hit 7%. It just pulled back to its 10, so if you're looking to buy this thing, and this is the thing about, corrections or pullbacks, if you're fully invested 100%, you hate a correction. You want them to go up every day. But if you're all cash, you're going, yeah, you're licking your chops, right? Saying, this might be a time to buy this thing back down at the 10 EMA, where it pulled back today and just bounced slightly, but still down 7%. So that's a pretty rough day for UiPath. MSTR, this has been a really strong stock. You can see it's been rallying with Bitcoin today. Pulled back, we just had an inside day down 4%. Trying to recover after hours. So I'm going to get to after hours in a minute. Datadog, they reported today. I was really impressed. In the pre-market, it was down to like 115. And I'm thinking, man, if it's just going to pull back to this pivot area, this buy point, that 118 area or 120, that would be a pretty good buy if you got it in pre-market. And then as soon as the market opened, I mean, this thing showed a lot of strength, and all it did really was on a pretty strong earnings report, they sandbagged guidance. It just pulled back to its 50, found support, then closed, just a tick above the 10. So that's really impressive action, I think, for Datadog. And that's one of our leading top 25 leading stocks that I have at MC Stock Charts. And it seems kind of strange how our leading stocks held up so well today. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Monday reported on Monday and sold off, didn't even make it down to its 50. Today, this is definite relative strength with this pretty strong volume, and it's up 1.5% in an extremely weak tape. So Monday is showing strength. Definitely some buyers here. So that's something to take note of. Giga Cloud Technology, another one of our leading stocks, didn't even pull back to the 10 today. I think it pulled back to the 8. If I change our moving averages here to the 8 EMA, so you can change moving average to fit your narrative. Yeah, just pull back to the 8 and then bounce sharply too. I like to use the 10 just to keep it consistent, 10 and the 21. But that's a nice bounce off the 8 and closed up, closed flat on the session. But it bounced nicely. It was down to what, 28.56, which is nearly the 10 EMA. Like I said, it was the 8 and then bounced like $3. So that's a nice move, like a 10, 11% move for Giga Cloud. And then ESTC, this one pulled back to, I think it had the buy point, what, 118.24. Yeah, it pulled back right to that level today. 117 was the low. You got to be quick to get on that one. And that one looks pretty good as well. That could turn up on our ready list again. It's within 5% of that 118.24, and I like this stock a lot. So it's giving you a chance to get in. You got to be kind of brave and have some guts to buy these pullbacks. You really buy the dip after the pullback, like you saw with Giga Cloud. You don't buy the dip, you buy the bounce off the dip. So anyway, I'm going to get to that in a minute too. Some drug stocks that performed well today. Neocrene Biosciences just bounced off its 50 nicely, up 2.61%. So you like to see that. It's making these higher lows here, I believe, and trying to form this little steep wedge, but a wedge nonetheless. So Neocrene looks pretty decent. Viking, this is one that's just a really speculative. Speculative stocks are going to get hit. It's just an inside day today though, so not bad for a Viking, down 3.5%. That's one that I really like. CYTK, this is another speculative buyout candidate. You can see it ramped up and then have sold off ever since, but still holding that gap integrity. So pretty good for CYTK. And then IOVA, this is your typical biotech, right? On Monday, I think it ramped like more than 8%. Yeah, 8.3%. Today gives 8% back. So eh, that's pretty tough, and that's the life in biotech land. They speculative biotech, ramps and then gives some back. So anyway, that's another one that's a speculative buyout play. You can see the group is ranked really high, and this is a strong stock and a strong group. Anyway, I've got to get to what I was going to talk about. Earlier in my morning commentary, I said you have to watch for relative strength with stocks. You want to find out where stocks are being supported. I could change the moving average here once again, because if you're looking at a leading stock like SMCI, you want to really move your averages up here. And this is kicking off its 5 the whole way up. It's just finding support at the 5. Every time it pulls back, it just pulls back to the 5. And I'm going to change that before I forget because I like the 10. But this is, to me, I mean, the strongest stock, the one to own in the market. But it has this gap here at 745.17 from Friday. On Monday, it pulled back and closed that gap. You can see the low is 745.07. Okay, so below that, I'm not really thrilled. But if it can trade down there like it did today, 745.51, find support and bounce, then I'm interested. And so what is a bounce? You know, that's the question. What are you talking about a bounce? I get that question all the time. So here you can see on Monday, here it traded down to the 745.07, all right? And it did this last week too. It traded down and people freak out. It went from like 700 to 625. But those are buy areas. They're not, don't panic. You know, you want to embrace these pullbacks because they don't pull back that often. So there's your 745 from yesterday. 745.17, I believe it was. 745.07. So it retested this morning right out of the gate. It tested 51 and held, 745.62 and held. It ramped up, then pulled back to 746.66. So it held here, this area. So that's your tell, right? It's holding up, it's getting support, and then it ramps up. So for me, you know, like a $10, you know, if you put your buy order in it, you know, 55 or even a $15 at 760, you know, that's a pretty good $15 bounce, right? I mean, that's a 2% bounce on a, you know, $740 stock or whatever. So anyway, I did add to this thing today as it bounced. I was talking to some subscribers and they're saying, what are you looking at and what are you going to buy? And I said, you know, 755, that's good. It felt like 760, which I don't really care, you know, and I have a lot of this, so I don't really need it, but I just wanted to make a winning trade. I kind of knew that that was I shouldn't say a deal. I just knew that this thing's probably going to trade higher. And it's sure enough found buyers the rest of the way and closed higher today. But that's what I was looking for, the low from Monday to test and retest. And that's, you know, that's just what I was looking for today. So anyway, SMCI definitely showing strength. And now it's up, you know, 802 after hours. Definitely one of the stronger stocks. I believe it's going higher. You know, I'm not going to put a target on it. Everybody wants me to put a target. What's it going to? Is it going to 1,000? I don't know. I do know what a top looks like, and once they sell off sharply. So you'll have to get out when it does that. But this thing still is going higher, I think, and it's getting upgraded, higher price targets, blah blah blah. It doesn't mean anything. What does mean something is it's getting this, right? These are institutional footprints. The institutions are buying this thing. They can't get enough of it, even at $750, $800. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm just gonna go take a random walk through some random stocks, maybe not so random. You might find them on a leading stock list somewhere, but these are stocks showing relative strength. You know, like I said in the morning commentary, I said these days where we pull back 1.5%, 2% on the Nasdaq is a good day to find out where your stocks find support. CrowdStrike found it at the 21 and then bounced closed flat, where I'm going to take flat on a day like today. I mean, I'm going to take flat all day long. That is showing relative strength, definitely making higher lows. And if you got to look at the weekly on these, you know, it's down what 2% this week, but inside week. So with the Nasdaq down like it is this week, CrowdStrike's hanging in there, doing very well. Broadcom, another one from our leading stock list, you know, just pulled back to its 10, closed a tick above the 10. And I'm thinking tomorrow we're going to get, I think they're going to come in and start buying some stuff tomorrow, saying, might have overdone it. We shook some of the weak hands out. Now they're going to buy them up. AMD today traded down to its 21, and that's a sharp bounce. You know, from 167. Well, the low was 164, but the 21's 167. It closed $4 above that. To me, that bodes well for tomorrow. Once again, you know, AMD is just kind of flagging here after this, you know, 100% move from 93 to, you know, to 186 or whatever, 185. It's just pinching in here. The tighter, the better. The tighter, as long as these, you know, the 21 and the 10 start converging, that's great. Let it converge there at 170. I'm happy with that. But definitely showing strength. Spotify, another one of our leading stocks, traded down to its 10, found support and bounce. That's what you're looking for. That's beautiful. You know, you want your leading stocks, your stronger stocks to find support and bounce. This is Abercrombie and Fitch. Couldn't even push it down to the 10 today, and it bounced sharply. Another just a beast of a stock. The 10 was 109.23 and it came down to 108.80. So it did pull back to its 10 and then bounced up to 116.85. Thank you very much, Abercrombie and Fitch. NVO Novo Nordisk, yeah, it was down today. You know, it was down 0.5%, 54 cents, big deal. You could see just tight trading inside day, you know, just allowing the moving averages to catch up. This is doing nothing wrong. I mean, nothing wrong. And if it just trades sideways for a couple of weeks around 120, that's perfect, allowing the moving averages to catch up. Eli Lilly, another drug stock on our leading stock list, trading sideways, trying to form this shelf after the breakout from that 625 area. Now trading at 740. So Lilly, you know, to me, these are leading stocks that I want to own, that I want to find a way to get in. You know, if you don't own them, you know, they're extended, sure, they're stretched, just like the market's stretched, but these are the ones that I want to own. ServiceNow down 1.7% with the index, right? The index was down 1.8%. So down to the 21, closed, you know, just a tick above the 21, but definitely showing strength. Palo Alto Networks, down 1%, pulled back to the 10, definitely showing relative strength. Elf had one of the best earnings report that I've seen this quarter, you know, and if you just look at, you know, a little longer term here, 131, it just keeps making higher lows. Yeah, I know it pulled back today 2%, but big deal. It's making higher lows. And if you look at the weekly, it made a higher high on Monday, then pulled back, reversed candle Monday with the index. There you see it. Went up to 179, then pulled back. But ALF looks fine to me. Allow these moving averages to catch up. And you know, the longer you hold that, and those moving averages are rising, the more money you're going to make. Uber is up tonight on I'm going to get to it in a minute. Lyft earnings, so it's up nearly 2%. This one just pulled back to its 21, found support. Definitely showing relative strength. Flat in a weak tape. We'll take it all day long. Booking Holdings, yeah, down to the 10, you know, found support. You know, 1% down. We're going to take that all day long. Vertiv, pull back to the 21, found support, up 2% in a tape like today. We'll take it. Thank you very much. Netflix, just forming a shelf here. I want to see some strength. Yeah, I know it's flat today. This thing's got to start moving, though, for me to get excited about it. Deckers, pull back to the 10. So I'm just showing you strong stocks here on our leading stock list. Some other stocks that, you know, showing strength. Waste Management. Walmart made a 52-week high today. It just pulled back to the 10. And my favorite ticker symbol, BRO. BRO made a new high today and was flat in a week tape. Anyway, that's it for me, except for I lie. I have one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. One more thing is earnings. And after hours, we got some movers. I'm going to start with this internet content stock. IAC had a nice earnings report, up more than 2% after hours. Very nice. As yeah. Oh wow, this one lift up 15%. That's a good move. We'll take it. Thank you very much. Let me see. Upstart. I don't know what Upstart's doing. I don't think their earnings were very good. Yeah, it's down 24%. I would say so. So, you know, if that holds tomorrow, that looks pretty bad. ABNB here down 4%. Okay, how about Hood? I've got to look at some of these reports and listen to their calls. Okay, Robinhood Markets is up 8%. So Hood and Lyft looks like, and IAC, two of the better responding reports after hours. Akamai, the technology is down 3%, and Zillow Group is the last one. It's up, you know, nearly 5%. So I've got to go through these reports and have a little more color tomorrow morning. This Zillow Group actually looks good. Maybe trying to break out of a stage one area there with the you know, 57 buy point. It's up 54.50 tonight. Anyway, that's it for me. You know, today was a tough day, no doubt about it, but it was much needed. If I go back to the Nasdaq, just, you know, hang in there. You know, the walls are not tumbling down, as John Cougar Mellencamp would sing. We're going to be okay. This is much needed. hopefully, this thing finds support as it has. You just look kind of at, history, what it's been doing. There's your January 1st of the year tech sellings pullback, and then there's another couple day pullback to the 21, another couple day pullback to the 21. Now we got another couple day pullback. So just hang in there. Like I said, if you're on the sidelines looking to get in, this looks good for you. If you're fully invested, you might want to trim and take a little off and protect your capital. We've had a massive run. I hate giving anything back. That's just the way I am. If I got big games, I'll take them, and then if it goes higher, so be it. But I can always buy them back, and that's why I sell stocks when they slice through 50. I can always buy them back if they start responding better. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I'll have more in the morning. Definitely, we got some new data points this afternoon with these earnings reports, so it's exciting. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up.